here's this device. It looks like this, and it is from Emos, and it's a digital switching socket. The model is TS-ED1. It has a European plug for 220 volts, 16 amps maximum, 3600 watts. You have to plug this into the wall socket and plug in here a consumer, and you have a digital display plus a few buttons. It looks like this. It has a built-in battery, that's why it's showing that clock. You cannot access it anywhere, but it has some weird looking screws here. You need a flathead screwdriver, plus it has a notch in the center. You have to cut into that screwdriver. The first thing which is shown is the time. So you need to set the current time. Currently it's 9 o'clock p.m. and 35 minutes. So to set the time at 9 o'clock p.m. you have to press and hold this clock button and then press the hour. So I'm holding the clock and pressing the hour. Currently it's showing AM, so I have to go further and then it jumps to PM. Okay, so it's 9 p.m. Now you can release the clock also, and the minute is 36. So also the clock, and now the minute. Hold the clock. If you hold it down, it will go much faster. A few more. Okay, and release the clock. So for setting the clock, you always have to press that button. Now it has the week also. It says Thursday, but it's not that one. And to modify that, you have to also press the clock and then the week. So clock and week, and it goes Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So current day is Wednesday. And then we have another one. It says manual off. So in that state, the power will be always turned off here. That can be cycled with this on auto off button. So here it will automatically power on and off. Here it will be always on, so power will be available here. So we should use the auto function. So only these three are auto, on and off. And now let's use the timer. It looks like this. We need to specify on which day to power it on. On is mentioned here, and at which hour and at which minute. And that's the first program. So on the first program it jumps back to the clock if you don't push anything. On the first program it can also power off, and then it goes to the second program's on hour, second program's off hour, third on, third off, and so on. It has 8 programs. 8, yes. So you can cycle between the clock and the timer. Clock shows the current time, 9:38, and timer specifies when to power on something here and when to power off. So let's power on something at 9:40. So go to timer. Now in this case you don't need to press the clock also, because in that case it will go to the clock. So just the timer, and the hour is okay. You can set it to 9 p.m. Currently it's on AM. Now it jumped to PM, so 9. Okay. And let's go back to the clock, so it's 39. Go back to timer and set that one to, let's say, 40. Okay, and that's the on time. So at 9 hours and 40 minutes it should power on. I have to modify it, I will run out of time. Let's go to the next one. Just press the timer. Now that's the off time, when to turn off something. So also at 9, but let's say 41. So just press the minute, 41, and that's it. So back to clock. Now it's 39. At 9:40 it should power on something, and at 9:41 it should power off this device, which is here. Let's check the time. We are late. So let's plug in a small lamp. Now let's add one more minute. So now it's 40. So timer, it should be on at 41. Timer once again to jump to the off, and it should be off at 42. Let's plug it in. It already turned on. Let's see. So now it's 40, and it should turn on at 41 only. So to turn it off, use this on off auto. Now it's off and back to auto. So I had to turn it off. Yes, so at 41 it powers on, and at 42 it will power automatically off. So to cycle it between the on-off state, so to cut off the power initially, I had to use this on auto off button and then turned off the power from here. And when it reaches to that certain time, then it powers on and then it powers off. So it's using a minute, so 60-second precision. That's the unit. You cannot set seconds to make it turn off at 9 hours 41 minutes and 10 seconds. You cannot do that. You have to wait until 1 minute passes. Okay, and at 42, yes, it already did. At 42, it turned automatically off. If you want to power it on and off once again, just go to the timer. Let's check the time. So currently it's 42. Let's make it power on at 43. So timer, increase the on time to 43, and once again timer, and minute 44. Okay. One more thing, we are on Wednesday, and here at timer you also have days, so in that case you have to modify the week also. So if I press the week, notice it's showing different days, and I want it, yes, it's working, it powered automatically on, and it's skipping between 1 day on, 1 day off, so you have to specify on which day to work. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and all of the days. So on the timer, just press the week button and it will use all the days. Okay, and when it reaches to 44, it should turn automatically off. So that's the timer. It has a random feature, it has another button, I haven't studied that one, but the timer, when to automatically power on something or power off something, that's the most important one. And of course the clock, because it has to know what time of the day it is and which day of the week it is. And voila. So the lamp itself is powered on from its own switch, and by using this on auto off button you can always turn it on, manual on, auto, or always turn it off. So if you want it to automatically power on or off, you must use the auto function. Otherwise it's either always off or always on. There is no OK button or apply button. If you simply set it to a certain time, let's say to turn it on at 7 a minute, so it's an on setting. If you just put it there, it should power on at 7 minutes. You can be on the timer, you can be on the clock. These settings will be applied and the lamp will power on at that certain time. If you don't touch anything, it gets out from the timer and goes back to the clock. So that's the current time, and at 7 it should, and it did, powered on. To make it use either the AM PM symbol or the 24-hour mode, you have to use these two buttons. So clock and timer should be pressed at once. So that's using the 24 hours mode. Press them once again, and now it's using the 12-hour mode where PM and AM is shown. To make it use the summertime mode, that is to bring the clock 1 hour forward, press the clock and the on auto off buttons, so these two. And then summer is shown here, and instead of 22 you have 23 here. So that's the winter, and that's the summer. 1 hour less, 1 hour more. This reset button, res and RCL, can be used here on the timer. So when you're on the clock it's not doing anything, but when you're on the timer you can modify those values, and res RCL will reset it, but it's also restoring it. And this random function is working in the automatic mode, so currently it's in off. So let's place it to auto and press the random button, and in this mode it randomly powers on and off the device which is plugged in here between 6 o'clock PM and 6 o'clock AM. So it's simulating the presence of somebody in that house. so it's good against burglars, thieves, so they might think that somebody is actually switching on and off the light at night using that random feature. So the random button operates in auto mode and the random text will be displayed. It activates the appliance, in this case the light. If it's activated, the appliance is switched on in a random way between 0 and 32 minute steps during the time period between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. So from night till morning it will automatically turn itself on and off. It did not turn on yet. It once turned on while I wasn't filming. So you cannot use this timer to turn off after, let's say, 5 minutes just by pressing a button. You always have to specify at which hour and which minute to power on and off. It would be nice if it would have a feature to power off after 1 minute, after 5 minutes, after half an hour or something like that, just by pressing a button. That's the Emos timer, or exactly TS-ED1 switching socket. By the way, this is from the package. It also had a nylon. It was somehow like this. And it has a manual, a large paper, which looks like this in that many languages. And here's the English. And by the way, you can use it as just a clock, so it's 9 hours and 46 minutes. The internal battery, it will be recharged after, let's say, 12 hours as the manual mentioned.